Hello. Hi, a very good evening to everyone. I hope you can all hear me.
Yeah, hi Amit.
Yes.
Sorry, guys, to keep you all waiting. So just got a little late in waking up. So dropping a message. Okay, so let's start. Just give me a moment. Please share my screen.
I have a question. Can I ask now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the assignment that you have posted that day, in which there was a tab related to if function. So one of the result is coming wrong. I don't know why. I mean, in spite of applying the same formula, rest or the cells, I mean, everything is coming right, but only in one cell the value is coming wrong.
Can you share your screen? If
Yeah, I'll do that.
so, what the question is? If A40 plus B40 is this is okay. This is coming as high, right?
Yeah,
But this should come as
medium.
low.
Okay, yeah.
And can you give me control? Strange. If this is no, but the formula this is also correct. I mean, the formula has been applied is correct. I mean, Just trying to check the sequence over here. This was this. Actually, the problem that is happening is, huh, got it, na? See, you know what is happening? I'm so sorry. Just a simple logic. See, the condition that you have created, na, this according to the condition, if you see, this is correct, na. Basically, see what happens is like when you work with this over here, right, in Excel, it checks condition by condition. Okay. Now, what has happened over here was, first of all, what Excel does is it comes over here and checks the condition, right? It checks the condition that is this plus this greater than 15. Your output, the condition gets false, right? It is not greater than 15. What it does is, so it jumps to the false because the condition is false. So it jumps over here in this if section. And now in this if section, what you have done is you have given the condition is this number, this plus this less than equal to 14. Condition is true, right? 1 plus 3 is less than 14, and you're getting the output as high, right? Condition is true, you're
Yeah.
getting the output as high. So that is why you get the output as high over here. And if you see over here, actually the scenario is coming the same over here also. It is building high also. It is just that the numbers were such, if you see, it was this number was also 9, this number was also 9. So you got a kind of a hint that, okay, this is basically, if you see over here, uh, when it was less than equal to 9, the technically the output should have been medium, right? But if you see over here, the output is actually incorrect over here also,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because you are getting less than equal to 9. 9 should also be output as medium. So you are not getting medium anywhere,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
that is where the condition is going false. So basically, you have to build the condition, because what we have done is you have technically tried to build use the same thing, but the logic will be changed a little bit. You will say if the number is, you can say it as, if the number is more than 15, then the output is should be high, very high, which is correct. And then what you want is, if the number is, you will actually have to use this condition of and, right? So you can say if the number is greater than 9, right? So maybe you can use it over here like this. If the number is greater than, uh, you want it between 9 to 14, right? So we can say the number is greater than 9, you want it high, okay? And over here, and you also have a low, right? And then if the number is greater than this was correct only. If this plus this, right?
Yeah.
So now if you see over here, now it will give you that output. So conditions were not in the right direction.
Okay, like it should always be in order. Like if it's very high, the next should be high. I mean, consequently.
So this is, and still there is some problem, less than equal to 9. So if it's number is greater than equal, if it is a number then greater than high, then only it should be high, greater than 9 but less than equal to 40. Why is it not giving this? For the medium it should be,
We can use the AND condition, right? In order to check both the conditions and operator. Like the one which I pinged in chat, I'm getting the output for that.
actually, I was trying to create, because we can create the logic this way. So I mean that is the straightforward. So we can simply put the AND condition if you want. So we can create it using the AND, that if equal to if. So you just start with that AND statement over here. That AND if the number is, like we say, if the number is like over here, if this plus this is less than equals to 4, then you can straight away say that this is low, and if it falls, so you start again if, and over here we give the AND part, right? So we say AND if this plus this, right, is greater than 4, comma, and you put the second condition that this plus this is less than equal to 9, right? So in that case, output becomes medium. And similarly, over here you build one more condition that will be for high and very high. Okay, that is something that we'll have to use, high and very high. So I hope you can now, from here we can just make it. So let me, I'm just putting it up to high. We'll
Yes,
actually have to build.
fine. But like, I mean, we can do it in either way. So the first thing that struck my mind was something else. So what if I want to do it that way? I mean, where is the
And that
mistake?
way also, if you see over here, we are actually doing it correct. So this is the one that we're doing. So in your case, the condition was wrong, right? That you understood, right? Where you were going wrong.
Yeah, I understood that. But one question I have, like, it should always be in some order, be it ascending or descending. That is the proper order that it should always
So
proceed.
what we do over here, we are, if this is what I'm creating in the descending order. The number is greater than 50.
Mhm.
I'm calling it as high. If the
Mhm.
condition gets failed, so then I'm saying the number is greater than 9.
Mhm.
Right? If the number is greater than 9 over here, so that is this. So we are calling that as a number high. And then what we have is, if the number is greater than 4, we are calling it as medium, and otherwise it goes as low. So just one thing that we have to check over here is, why is it coming low over here? This is because 6, did I make something? Let me just quickly check what number is going on. 6 plus 3. This has, this is going, one number is going wrong on this. B5, right? It is B41 now. Okay, this cell went wrong.
Mhm.
So this was the problem. Okay, now is it right?
Yeah. Thank you.
So just that descending out of the sequence, it is going like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So now what I'll do is I'll just share my screen. Anything else apart from this?
That's about for me. Thank you so much.
Okay. So sure, Dipesh, so I'll just explain you that. See, if we have some numbers, right? Like if I give you some numbers, okay. So max is right, like what that is going to do is it is going to give you the maximum number. If you select the max, so like we have the maximum number is 7. So this is max function. Then you have min function. Min is what that is going to do is if you come over here, min, it is going to give you minimum number. That would be 1. Okay. So this is min. And then you know what we have is we have a function, we have one small function as small, right? So if you say small over here, so it returns the kth small value, right? For example, what max is doing, it is giving you the maximum value. What min is doing, it is giving you the minimum value. But what if you want the second smallest value or the third smallest value, right? So you say that, you know, this is the data and suppose you want the third smallest value, right? So that is small. So that is 3, right? So large is just opposite of that. Okay. So you want the second highest value. So if you say equal to large, so this is the array. If you want the second highest value, so you want the second highest value, so it gives you 6. So you can find the nth highest or nth smallest value using the small and large. Are these functions clear?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Then you have a function that is choose. So now I will request just try the choose by yourself by reading the definition. So it chooses a value or action to perform from a list of values based on the index number. See what this does is you have this index number and you give value 1, 2, and 3. So what you do over here is let me just say yeah. So what I'm saying is it's like you can say it's like a lookup based on a number 1, 2, 3. I am saying if a person gets rank 1, I am going to give him gold. If person gets rank 2, I am going to give him silver. If a person gets the rank as 3, I am going to give him bronze. Okay, so this is exactly what this function does. If I say equal to choose, right? If I give index number 1, right? So for 1, I want to give the output as gold. For 2, I want to give the output as silver. For 3, I want to give the output as bronze. Okay. Now, what was the index number that I gave? I gave the index number 1. 1 means gold. If I suppose instead of passing that number 1 over here, I give a reference that whatever is the number that I give over here, that should be the output. Okay. 1 means gold. If I make it 2, it will become silver. If I give 3, it will become bronze. Choose does that part. So whatever number you give, it is going to give the output based on that. Okay, you have to give that sequence of numbers over here. Like for 1, this, 2, this, 3, this, and you pass something more also. 4 means no award. Okay, so now if you write 4 over here, it becomes no award. So this is what the choose function is going to be. Okay. Yeah. Just give me 2 minutes, right? Just I'll need 2 minutes. Okay, yeah. So Deepa, you also had one question, I guess.
Yeah, should I
Yeah, you
ask
can.
now?
Sure. Maybe shall we do it in the last?
Yeah,
Because
that's what, because it's already late, so I thought I can ask at the end. Okay.
see, now today what we're going to do is we're going to explore the charts, that how we can create the charts in Excel. So we won't be going very deep with the charts. The reason for that is basically reason being, we will be actually exploring and creating the charts in Tableau and Power BI. We will be learning to create dashboards and reports in the Tableau and Power BI, because these are the tools that are used nowadays for report building and dashboard building. So the idea over here in the Excel would be just to give you a basic idea, so that at least you can start up with the charts and you can create it, but not from a very deep perspective, like going into deep and doing some more very advanced charts over here. So we will be just covering the basics of the charts over here. So basically, see, if I ask you a quick question, why, so charts are called as visualizations, right? So why do we need visualizations? Anyone, if you can answer this, why do we need visualizations? So why do we need to create the charts?
To get a quick understanding of the data.
Right? To get the quick understanding. So because it's a I will say it's like a human trait that we remember the visuals for a longer period of time as compared to the textual data. Also, it happens that when you create a visual, it gives you the information in a very concise way, and you can quickly absorb it, right? Like for example, when you see the charts of anything, right? Like if you see the chart of population among the countries, you will get to know very quickly which country has a high population, which country has low population. If I show you a chart for something like the COVID pandemic that we are going through right now, right? So like every country has their website where they show how many active cases are there, confirmed cases are there. So over there also you would have noticed that the basically what the countries do is they basically use charts over there, right? So in order to represent their information. So that is the same purpose that we use the charts over here in Excel or in any other tool. And in fact, you will be learning to create charts not just in Excel. You will be learning Tableau, Power BI, R, Python, right? All the tools that you are going to learn, everywhere you will see that we will be creating charts, because these charts play a very important role in terms of data representation. So let's get started. So what we will do is we will start with the very first chart, that is a bar chart, right? So basically, so what is a bar chart and why do we need it? So let's try to understand that, right? So why will I need a bar chart? So bar chart is something that we use for comparison of categorical data, right? Like suppose if you have some data, like you have the data of like region over here. You can see like what was the sales that happened in each region. So I would like to see that how much sale, I would like to compare in which region I got the highest sales. So what I can do is I'll, if I have to create a chart, I'll simply select my data. I'll go to the insert, and from here you will see there are a variety of charts that I can create, right? If you want to create a column chart, simply click on this and your chart will be ready, right? So you can see the chart has been created, and over here you can see there is on the x-axis and y-axis. So region comes on the x-axis and the sales comes on the y-axis, and the chart is ready. Okay, this over here at the top, this is called as the title of the chart. This is called as the legend of the chart. Okay, so title, if you want to edit the title, you can just double click over here and you can write your, the title and edit this. Suppose I'm calling it as a bar chart. So I can edit this chart over here, right? You see these lines that are coming over here, these are called as grid lines, right? The chart has a grid lines over here. So you will notice, like you have a lot of options to modify this chart, right? Like if you want to change the colors and all, so you can just select the different type of chart styles you got over here. You can use that. If you come to the home tab, right? So if you select the bars, just click on the bars, and you can also change the color if you want, right? If you want some other color over here, you can do that. Do you want, let me do one thing. Let me just share this file over the, let me put this file on the Google Classroom. Right? Just give me a second. So that, you don't all have to prepare this data. So I'm just putting that over there. Okay. So I've uploaded the file. You can now please download it from there. No. I hope you are able to access the file, the Excel file.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, right. So if you see over here, this is how we can quickly create a bar chart, and where you can see. So whenever you create a chart, so when you create a chart at the top, you will find three options that come up, right? Design, layout, and formatting. So design is basically what type of chart that you have created, right? So you can see you can just apply some changes to it in the form of look and feel, which type of design, which design of the chart you want, right? And over here you can see there are three ways chart layouts, and there are more. In fact, you can see variety of chart layouts. So what is chart layout? Chart layout means like if I select this layout, you see you get some access title. If you want to put some access title, you can do that, right? And you can see this legend is has moved a little up, so you can place the legend somewhere. If you want, you can move it. So layout is how the chart is going to look like, right? Like for example, if you make the chart look like this, now it's looking a little weird, but yeah, so this is one of the layout that you have, right? You want to make the chart look like, come like, suppose this. So you see the chart now, you don't have a title, you have a legend which is coming at the bottom. So there are variety of layouts that you will be able to select from. So whichever you feel looks good, you can pick that up. Okay. You want to change or apply the colors and all, you can do that. Just a click and you can do it. If you come to the format, you can apply a lot of other formattings, right? Suppose shape styles, I mean, the complete chart, you want to apply some borders and all to it, you will find this. You want to change the color inside it, you can fill the shape with the color which was white, you can fill that with it. You can apply, change the color from here also. So these are all formatting options for the chart, right? You want to give some effects to this, so you can give a shadow effect if you want. So the chart will have, see, you see a little bit of a shadow effect is coming in the back end. So these are all the things you can use to make your chart interesting. So if you come in the layout, this is where you will find some more stuff. Like for example, you have the chart title, right? You want to change the chart title somewhere else, right? You don't want a chart title, you can remove it. Or if you want over here, you want center, so it comes in the center, right? If you click on above the chart, it comes at the top, right? If you come over here, you want to see more options, you can select from there. Like for the chart, if you want to apply some border, you want to select border styles, you can select that. So you want to give some shadow effect, alignment, so all those options are over here, right? You want it at the bottom, so you can just change the alignments and all of this, the title that you have. So you want to change the context, just double click inside it and you can type your actual bar chart. You want to give some data labels, right? So if you come in the layout, there's an option of data labels, so you can put the data labels also. Suppose you want to put them on outside end, so you can put these numbers, right? Data labels, what was the sales that happened in all the different regions. And these charts are dynamic. Suppose if you come over here and you change something, like Japan is spellings are wrong, I put a N, you will notice the thing changes right away on the chart. Okay. And also one other thing that I wanted to show you in this. Right. So if you come over here, if you right click on this and you click on select data, right? You can get that option from here also in the design. If you will say select data. Now this data over here, you can see the range, right? That what range is selected for the creation of the chart. Okay, like for example, this is the range from B6 to C10. That is, this is the range. So I hope now all of you can make this dynamic, right? This is something that we have already learned by using the offset formula. You can create a dynamic range also that tomorrow, because see, if what happens now is right now, if a new region comes in, right? If suppose I add India also into it. So, and the revenue in India was 50. So right now it will not incorporate that right away. If you want to add India also into the chart, what you will have to do is you will have to go into the design, select the data, and in this you will say that the data is not up till C10, it is up till C11, right? You will make this change over here. Then the India will come. But yeah, if you create a range by using the offset, that the columns are two, if the for the rows you can say the count a formula, the number of rows you get. So the moment you will add a new data, automatically a new bar will be automatically taken care of. You will not have to come and manually change the range. I hope I'm making sense to everyone. Anyone, any question up till here?
You showed the data labels, right? Is there any way can I change the orientation like vertical or horizontal?
Sorry, what is?
The data labels.
uh,
Yeah, it is in horizontal manner. Is there any orientation I can change like vertical?
you can do it. So if you will, if you are over here, if you go to this layout in the data labels, you have a lot of options over here,
Okay, okay.
right? So you can come to the alignment. So you can say text direction, you can make it, you can rotate it, right? You want it to rotate like this. So see,
Okay,
it got
okay.
rotated. Okay. So you want to place them at some place else, right, left, whatever you want. So you can do make those changes from here. You can change the
Okay,
coloring and everything.
okay, okay.
Now let's move to the next type of a chart, right? The second chart that we're going to see over here, that is clustered column chart, right? So basically, let me just delete this, right? So clustered column chart is basically one is column, one is cluster. Clustered means if you see, we have the region, and now in this we have two things that we would like to see, right? So we would like to see the rate of Q1 plus Q2. Now this is something interesting to understand, and there is a lot of stuff that we will see. Now what I do is, if you come over here and you come to the insert, let me insert a column chart, right? You can notice over here, when it creates comes to the bar chart, you can see three type of charts over here. Okay, there are three type of bar charts that we have. So first of all, I'm going to, and previously also, right, when I was creating a chart over here, in this also we had the same option, right? We had these three options. The options are not going to change. So I selected this now because, you know, over here, if you will take a look at this chart, I just had one thing that was sales. So I'm getting one bar for each region. But now in this chart, what is happening is I have two things to compare for each region. So if I come over here and I select this, right, the first chart. So you see, I get a clustered bar chart right away. I can compare in EMEA. This is blue is Q1, red is Q2. I can compare, right, in which quarter I got higher sales, right? Was it Q1 or Q2? And then I have this one, Japan and US and LACC. So I can easily compare like in which region I got the higher revenue, right? So I can see that, you know, in Q1, the highest revenue was generated in Japan, right? In Q2 also, the highest revenue was generated in Japan. And technically, if you see in all the regions, you can see that except for Japan, in every other region, the sale of Q2 were less as compared to the Q1. Okay. I hope the interpretation of the chart is also clear to all of you. Okay. See, now what I'm going to do over here is with the same data, I'm going to select this data now and I'm going into the insert. And now in this, I'm going to use you see there are some other charts also at the bottom, which are same, right? Like in the bar chart, it shows you that the bars, if you want to show cylindrical shape or you want to show cone shape or pyramid shape, you can select that. But never, it's very rare that you will be using them. And also 3D charts is something that is a strict no. We should never use 3D charts, right? Like you see, the same chart is coming in a 3D view. So 3D view is never considered as a good practice. And you will also realize that all the latest tools that we have, they don't support these 3D charts. Okay. Now what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to insert the second type of a chart. That is this. This is also a cluster chart, but this is called as a stacked bar chart, right? This chart that you see right now, this is called as a stacked bar chart. Now, can you tell me that how these two charts are different from each other? The chart over here, the chart over here, how are they different in the form of representation?
The first chart, it is quarter one parallel to quarter two, and in the second one, it is stacked one top of other.
Okay. So can I use any of the chart anywhere, or should I have some selections that I should be selective where I should be using this or where I should be using this?
So while
Or I can,
comparing, we can use the first chart, and if like we want to go for the total, we can go for the second chart.
correct, right? So basically, if you see over here, that is the main difference that you have. So when you take a look at the second chart gives you the overall total also, which is not available in the first chart, right? So if I see over here, the first chart gives me overall total that okay, Q1 plus Q2 was highest in the Japan, then in the EMEA, then in the LACC, and then in the US. But that information I cannot absorb from here, right? That is not, I can easily compare. So Q1 versus Q2 is comparison is easy in this, and it's little difficult over here. Whereas the total is you can easily compare in this, which is little difficult in this. Okay. And same way, you have one more type of a chart. If you come over here and you click on insert, you have column chart that is this, right? 100% stacked column. So if you take a look at this chart, okay. If you take a look at this chart shows you the output in the form of 100%. So you can identify output in the form of percentage, right? Like in Q1, the sale happened almost like around 50-50, right? Around 50-50, and in this case, 60-40. Okay. So these are different type of bar charts that you have, which you can use for quick creation and analysis of your data, right? Then the next type of chart that we have, these are called as, these previous one were like column charts. We call them as column. When they are vertical bars, we call them as column chart. And when you create some bars which are horizontal, right? So they are called as, bar chart. So that is just a different terminology that we use for this chart. So how do we select it? See, if you see over here, I have the data which is large in number, right? It is large in number. I have lot of regions with me. If I will create a chart which is a column chart, right? If I'll create this column chart, so it becomes a little difficult for a person to interpret, as there are a lot of bars which are going in this direction. So as a rule, what we do is when you have lots of regions to compare, we should actually try to create a bar chart. It's just that it is everything is same. In this, the bars will come in the horizontal direction, not in the vertical direction. So we try to create the charts in this way. So from here, I can see the sales were highest like in this region, right? The sales were high in this region. So we can see the sales over here. Okay, please try this up. Okay, shall I move ahead? Right. So we'll move ahead. We have line charts. Right now, line chart is a type of a chart that we use when you have to do some time series analysis, right? This is where we use the time chart. We use the line chart, right? Like if you see, if you have a data on a time period basis, right, and you want to compare in which month you got higher sales, right, or in which year you got higher revenue or higher profit. So you can easily create a bar chart also over there. But again, as a best practice, what we should be doing is we should always create a line chart over there, right? So line chart is something that we use when you have to showcase the trend over a period of time. So what I'll do is if you come over here in the insert, you will find line charts and you can pick the line charts from here. And you see with the line chart, what happens is the analysis becomes very easy. We can see that in 1 month, maybe the batch strength was low, but then it increased. So we can see this over here that how this the data was changing. So line chart is something that we should create for a time series analysis. And in fact, when you will work with, you will all see that, when you work in Tableau. So Tableau is again, it automatically creates a line chart only if you try to bring any time or any date field over there in that chart. So it will create a line chart only by default, because that is the best chart that we can create for a time series analysis. Okay, if you want dual lines, you can use subject 1, subject 2. You insert again, you click on the line chart. So you will get 2 lines, 1 line for subject 1, another line for subject 2. And you see other formatting options are same, right? So I'm not going into that because they are exactly the same for all the charts. Nothing is changing. Then you have, a pie chart that you can create, right? Now, pie chart is something that you can create over here, in which, so why do we use a pie chart? Anyone? So what is the use of pie chart?
When we want percentage out of total.
Right. So when you have to calculate the percentage share. So for example, this is Q1 and Q2. What you would like to do is, if you come to the insert and you want to create a pie chart, so you can easily see that percentage share, right? So this is a pie chart that has been created. Okay, so now let me come to the data labels. If you click on the data labels, let me show it on the outside end. So you can see this was the, you know, the sale that happened in this region, this region. So you can see that up over here. And on top of that, if you want, if you come to this, to the data labels, more options, because you know in pie chart it is always an expectation. A person expects the output in the form of percentage. So in the label options, you will see it asks you, what do you want to show on the label? Do you want to show the value, or do you want to show the percentage? So if you select percentage, so it will show you the percentage also, right? So it shows that percentage over here, 36%, 34, no, likewise 24, 40, and 26. You can see the output in the form of percent. Okay. Then you have area chart. Right now, area chart is interesting one. So what we do is, like if I show you over here, now area chart is also something that you use for time series analysis, right? Now if you create a chart over here, month and target. So let me insert this and let me insert a area chart on this. So let me show you one thing. So you will notice, you know, it's not different from this line chart as of now, right? If you see this line chart, when I'm using only one variable, month and target, you can see the chart is coming like this, that if I convert it into a line chart, right? If I make it a line chart, it's just that what area chart did was it filled the color below this, right? It has filled the color below this chart. Okay, this is something that happened over here. But the main use of area chart is, right, when you have two variables to compare, right? Target and actual. If you have two things to compare, now see, suppose, you know, if I create a line chart, if I just, let me just delete this and let's insert a line chart again. See what happens over here is when you have two lines. So right now these two lines are easily comparable, you know, because these are like a little bit different, you know, they are far from each other. Like for example, but the problem comes in, like for example, this value was uh, 59. Okay, and another value was suppose this, right? One value was suppose I say 75, and another value was suppose this is 89, right? Now the values are, when the values are very near to each other, and right now I just have two lines. If suppose I have a third line also over here, if the lines suppose, you know, they coincide on each other, right? So it becomes a little difficult for a person to, you know, analyze what number is going in which direction, right? It becomes a little tough for a person to analyze those numbers. So that is where, you know, what we do is basically we use a area chart. See what I'll do now is this chart that I have got, I am going to convert it into area chart, right? I'm going to convert it into area chart over here. So now the chart has changed. Can anyone identify what has changed in the chart?
I see that the chart shows the like the target that they had, and then like I guess how much they've exceeded the target, but you're able to actually see it better.
Uh, so if you see, you know, basically what has happened over here is the now the data is stacked on one above the another, right? So the below chart is showing you the target. Okay, like if you see blue color is target and red color is actual. Okay. So now if you see for the month of January, what was the target? Target was 60. You can see the mark of 60 over here, right? So you can see the mark of 60 over here. That the target in the month of Jan was 60. In the month of Feb, it was around 65. So you can see that point. But when it comes to plotting an actual, now for actual, this 60 is considered as zero, right? This 60 is considered as zero. So how much sale we had in what was the actual data for January? That was 59. So 60 plus 59, that makes it 119. You see this point is coming at 119. So basically this tagged area chart, this area chart is showing me the independent individual numbers, plus at the same time I can see the cumulative sum as well, right? The total of the actual plus target was this, but whereas if you want to compare these two, you can compare it with the area size, like, right, you can see the area over here. So right now you see the area for both of them is almost similar, so I can say that, actual and target was very near to each other. But suppose actual becomes very high, actual comes out to be 100, you will notice there is a drift in the area, right? This area is more and this area is less. So you can say, right, in the month of January, the actual was higher than target because the area is big over here. So basically, area chart is just an alternative of a line chart if in case you have a lot of data points which are intersecting each other. So what you do is you convert it into an area chart in which the data is kind of stacked one above the another, which becomes easier for interpretation as compared to that complex lines which were intersecting each other. I hope I'm making sense to all of you. Okay. Then we have the chart that we're going to see, that is combination chart, right? So we have the combination charts as well. What is combination chart? Combination chart is basically a type of chart in which what we do is we show two type of charts together, or primarily, what I will say is a chart which has two axes, right? Like for example, if you see over here, I have a chart for month, each month what was the target and what was the actual, right? So I have this data with me. So combined chart is, right, like if I come into this insert and other charts, let's show this. Again, actually it doesn't come in this one, actually in 2010 it is not available, but in the latest one you all would be getting an option of combined chart also. So they have given that option in that latest, if you're using 16 or 19, you will find that the combined chart option as well. But in our case, in my case, what I have to do right now is I will have to first create a normal chart. I am creating a bar chart like this, right? So you see now, see the idea of a combination chart is that you should have axis on both the sides. So if you see right now, I have axis only on the one side for which I have to compare. But now if I come on this chart and I come to the layout and I come to the option of this axis, and what I'll do now over here is primary vertical axis and you have this primary horizontal axis. So what I'll do is, let me show the options over here. And in this, we have this option of show the secondary axis. Where is it? 1 second. So not horizontal, vertical. So, right there, that is combo chart. First, you have to select the values, axis, this option. One. format data series and put it on secondary axis, right? So what I've done is I've put it also, like if you're using the previous version, that is where you have to use it. Now what you do is I have just put this. So you see on one side you have a one axis, on the other side you have another axis, primary and secondary. And now what you do is you change one of the chart type into a line chart, right? You can change the chart type into a line chart. So now you will notice, see, target is something that is coming on the line chart, and you have the actuals on the bar chart. So you can see these two things that are coming, right? Vertical value, axis measure this value and this value. So just give me 2 minutes, right? I'll just come back. Yeah. So, sorry. So, let me just explain you this. So let me explain you this combined chart again, right? So let's do one thing. See a better example, right? Because in this case, even if you see target and actual, they are very quite comparable. So let's do one thing. So let me make this data something like this. Suppose this is the data. You know, target, let's keep it in the form of percentage, right? Percent share, let's call it as percent share. And this is like I'm saying this number divided by the sum of all the four numbers. So I've converted these numbers into percentage. See, if you create a chart for this, right? If you insert a chart on this type of a data, suppose I come over here and I say I would like to insert, suppose a column chart, something like this. So what happens in this case is, if you will realize that the percentage share red color is actually not visible on the chart, right? You can't even see that. Okay, so because one number was in a big number and there is in the percentage, so what is happening is Excel is not able to represent it. So the number that I have on this line, so because what is right now is happening, Excel is comparing both the numbers, both of them in the form of a number, right? Like 21% is not being considered as percentage, it is being considered as 0.21. And if you will compare 0.21 with 60, which is on the same axis, it will not be visible on the chart, right? That number is too small in comparison to that. So what we do is, if you come over here in the layout, okay, from the chart, see if I have to select that percentage here, I'm not even able to do that. So if you come in the layout, from here you have that option that let's highlight that. See what I've done is I have highlighted that. The selection that is there, I have just highlighted that over here. So what I'll do is I'll say I'll tell Excel that this selection of percentage here, I would like to change its type. And what I would like to do is I would like to convert it into a line chart. So I get a line chart over here. Now again, what is happening is this line chart is again coming at the bottom because the number is so small. So what we do is we again on this line, I right click and I say format axis. Not this one. Again, it becomes a little tricky to catch this up. No, not dot area. How do I select this? Now, maybe what I'll do is let me just select this one and say format data series. And let me plot this on the secondary axis. Right. So you see now I have plotted that. So on this, I have the target. On this, I have the percentage share. So I can easily compare line chart is showing me the percentage and this is showing me the target share. Right. So I can see that from here. So Deepa, are you guys not able to find this secondary axis? Or got
Yeah,
it?
found it finally, because yours and ours is different, right? So we need to go and search the
Uh,
Excel version.
no, this option would be coming, right? Format is not coming. This option when you right click format data series. This should be there, I guess, because this helps in formatting
Yeah,
the.
data series. This one is coming
So you
because,
just have to
yeah,
select that and you
it's
change
coming.
that axis on this.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Similarly, you have a chart. So I hope you are able to make these all the charts that we have discussed up till now. Anyone not able to create any part and would like to discuss?
Changing the layout and access stuffs, I think we can practice, because at least we can know what is what now.
These are like just again, right? This is like
Yeah.
the options. You can just explore them. If you get any doubt that this is not clear, we can definitely discuss that.
Yeah.
Then the last type of chart that we will discuss is this is a pie chart. Oh, sorry, this is a scatter plot, right? Now, scatter plot is an interesting chart because this is something that we will be using a lot when we will learn about statistics, and we will talk. We will learn Python and doing predictive modeling, because this is scatter plot is a chart that we use to find the relationship between two variables, right? Like for example, if you see over here, I have two variables and both are numeric, right? One is rainfall, and another is probability of drought, right? So I am saying that I want to find what is the relationship between these two, because I know that if the rainfall will be high, probability of drought will be low, correct? As the rainfall will increase, if the rainfall is decreasing, probability of drought is increasing, right? So if you want to see that relationship between the two variables, so in this, what happen is on the x-axis also you have a numeric variable, on the y-axis also you have a numeric variable. So you simply pick the two variables and you go to the insert and you get a scatter plot over there. So scatter plot is something that is going to give you the relationship between the two data points that you have. Okay. So the variable that you have first, this comes on the x-axis. The variable that you have second, that comes on the y-axis. So this is x-axis and this is y-axis. If you all remember, right, like y equal to mx plus c that we studied, y equals to mx plus c. This is the equation that is applied over here. That x is independent and y is dependent. So basically, probability of drought depends upon rainfall. If the rainfall will be high, probability will be less, or likewise. Same way, if you want to get a chart between salary and expense, right? So we know that if the salary will increase, expense will increase. So suppose salary is 10,000, I am saying his expense was 3,000. When the salary became 12,000, his expense became suppose 3,500, right? When the salary became 20,000, the expense became 5,000. So if I create this chart, so this is again going to give me the analysis. So let me insert this, a scatter plot. So it will give me, right, as the salary is increasing, the expense is increasing. So I can see a linear relationship in the upward direction now. Previous one was in the negative direction, one was increasing, another one was decreasing. In this, one is increasing, another is also increasing. Okay. So this chart is called as a scatter plot. Right. So this is what we have on the different type of charts that we can create. Right. So what I'll do is basically, so I will be sharing some one or two advanced exercises with you on which you can practice all your Excel skills. And yep, so that is where I think we come to an end on the part of Excel. So anything you would like to discuss?
On the scatter, only depending upon the direction, you mean to say you can decide whether it is going in it is having a positive correlation or negative. Is that right?
So you can say this is like a positive relation. So because it's going in the upward direction, it's a positive relation, and this is a negative relation.
Okay. Is there any way I can add some data labels for my understanding here?
Data labels as in?
No, because it seems only the scatter, I mean the plotting, right? So in order to get a better understanding, can I add some data labels here?
Data labels can be added everywhere, right? So you can, if you want to add some, right? So you can add, but because in scatter plot you have a lot of points, so
Yeah.
it becomes very tough to see them. So we never
Okay.
plot these things. We
Okay.
put the data labels only in the pie charts, bar charts, because in the real time, you will be having a lot more data. So you will be having
Okay.
data of thousands of points. So it becomes little cluttered in that case.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So okay. Acha, you want to ask about 2 week offs on different. Well, we are suggesting that if we can have 2 weeks of on 2 different days, right? Like as if
Yeah.
not in consecutive.
Mhm.
So I mean, we can talk on. I mean, we can discuss on that. So like tomorrow, just give you a quick heads up so that you all are prepared with this. So tomorrow, we will be starting with SQL. So I'm sharing some link with you from where you have to install some stuff. So it would be great, if you can keep this thing installed before coming to the session, because this is a time-taking process. So I'm sharing this link over here. Right? If you will come onto this link, so from here, what you need to do is, first of all, please, you have to download the Express Edition. The link first that I have given to you. From here, you have to install the Express Edition. Now, it is straightforward, right? So you will download this. When you will download this file, and when you will start, so please, you can write down these steps, right? So you have to download this Express Edition file for the link from the link that I've just shared. So the moment you will download this file and you will start the installation, a window will come up which will have like basic, custom, and one more option, right? So you have to select the option as basic from there. Just select the basic, click on next, 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 and everything will be installed, right? So it will take around half an hour or 15-20 minutes because it downloads a lot of files from the internet. So this is, first of all, you will have to install this, right? After this gets installed, what you need to do is you need to install this part. That is, you have to come on this next link, which I'm again sharing over the chat. So when you will come on this second link, you have to download this SQL Server Management Studio. So I will be explaining you what things we have downloaded and installed in a lot of detail, but just so that we have this thing ready, so you have to download these two things. Okay.
Amit, can I share my screen because I have a doubt in assignment?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting the output, but I don't know whether this is the effective way. I just want to know, is there any other effective way other than this? Because see, the last question here is you asked for the application processed for all the months except Jan.
Mm-hmm.
I use this particular formula because sum ifs is for more than one criteria, right? If I'm using this formula, I'm not getting the answer. So I use this one. What I did is like I using the sum if I got
No,
for
actually,
each and
one second. Can you go to that 01?
yeah.
The formula. So what did you apply? No, this formula that you have applied is not correct. The way this formula, no. So what you have given is, just a second.
Because I don't know whether I can give the same range, whether the sum ifs will work or not. So I used sum if and I have added. Yeah.
Okay, see, so you are applying, so you are saying sum FS. So E1, so first of all, the range that you have selected is
Some
E1,
range.
E1 to E17, that is this one.
Yeah.
Then you have selected the criteria range 1, that is from A1 to A17, which would be A1 to A17. In this, we're getting Feb.
I'm
Then in
giving
the
the criteria for the month Feb. Yeah.
No, see, what is happening is you cannot apply this because it is something like you
Mhm.
are applying the condition of and. So in the same range, you are saying that you should have the month as, April, the same month, you should have it as Feb, March, like this. So technically,
Okay.
this formula was supposed to be done like this. If you come over here,
Yeah.
I can we can do it in an easier way. If you say sum if,
Okay.
right, and my range is this. Okay, comma. The criteria is not equal to Jan. You can write it simply like this,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
right? When you say not equal to Jan, and then what you do is you give this range where you want to sum the data.
Okay.
Right? You get the same number 136.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So you can
Because
use this
I was
idea.
using this not with yeah if, but if of not is straight opposite, right? If of true, it will give false. If so, I couldn't know how I can use the not operator. So thought of asking you.
No, and you can use other operators also. Like for example, if I ask this question over here, like let me just give you some numbers. Suppose I give you certain numbers over here, right? Like 1, 2. Suppose I ask you that how many numbers in this range are greater than 3, right? I want to count that numbers, the count numbers that are greater than 3. So I can say
Okay.
equal to count if
Count if yeah. The range.
so I'll come over here. First of all, you select the range.
Yeah.
This comma, and in the double quotes you will say greater than 3.
Condition. Okay.
So you get 4 and 5. Two numbers are greater than 3, so you
Greater than
get
3.
output
Yeah.
as 2,
Count. Okay.
right? So you can use this way also the operators inside that condition.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Getting it. Thank you.
Sure.
And you said last week you will be sharing 2 other assignments.
I think I missed that. So those I'll do it today. I'll just share in 10 minutes. Next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll be uploading that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So see you tomorrow. Please download the files that I have requested, so that you can all do the things practically with me tomorrow itself.
What will be the final screen for that SQL? Because in my system, I think SQL is there. So I just want to know.
So final will be this SSMS, the second link that you will install. So that will give you the final thing that we want. SQL Server Management Studio. Let me share my screen. So this is how it comes out. So in the Windows, just type SSMS. So this is the SQL Server Management Studio. The second link that you are installing, this is what we are going to open up.
Okay.
And when you open this, when you click on this, this is what opens. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks all. So see you tomorrow, and let's start it from there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye all.
Bye all.